Hello again, this is your friend the One-Eyed Patriot. This is a video response to my friend Northwestprepper411's question, why am I a prepper? So stay tuned, we'll take a look. This is a video response to my good friend Northwestprepper411. Please go check his channel out. I have the link below. And this is an attempt to answer his question, why am I a prepper? And after I reflected on this question for a few days now, I went back to my early childhood when several events happened. And one of them was that our President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And the world was very shocked at the time, as they should have been. And as a result, our country was really trying to pull itself together and wondering how in the world, And a very distraught country it was, America, that things like this actually can happen. And several things came to my mind, and I want to share those with you. Another image that came to my head was, as a child, the Cold War, as Russia was our biggest threat at the time, we were told. And both America and Russia had silo missiles pointed at each other. And this is an image that was somewhat what was in my head as a child, as we knew it was just a matter of time before Russia would launch a nuclear attack on the United States. In fact, when I was living outside of New York City as a child, the elementary schools had what they called an air raid drill, and I can remember when that terrible siren went off that we were to get up under our desk, basically in a fetal position, kind of, sort of, and protect ourselves just in case we were hit by an attack from the Russians. Hardcore stuff, and how quickly we forget. It also came up in my mind about the Vietnam War. And it's always been in the back of my mind. I never went. I was never of age to go, but as a child I always knew it was just a matter of time before I would go. And no matter what kind of controversies or protests, I never even thought about those. I just knew that one day I'd be going to support the country for whatever the cause I was going to go, So, anyway, the war was over before I was of age. But I can remember nightly as folks would gather around their television sets to watch the nightly news with Walter Cronkite, who is now deceased. And it was a real big deal that they focused on how many bodies, how many young fellas had been killed that day. And I've always remembered that. Nowadays, unfortunately, on TV, it's just a blip in the news about those when they die in Afghanistan and such, and people seem to move on about their business. But back then, that was a jaw-stopping day to hear about the death toll. Then, I think it was 1968, there were several riots in America. Cities include, Detroit, Washington, D.C., Chicago. I believe they were racially motivated. That I cannot determine for sure. I just know that it was havoc, civil unrest, WROL, and those kind of things are kind of frightening to a city. So I'm glad we've moved past most of that, but WROL could happen again, you never know. And then in 1973, there was a United States oil crisis, and we were led to believe that we were going to run out of oil, and hence the Japanese cars started coming in droves. And and now we wonder what happened to the American car market. And apparently we believed the government back then. So take that for what it's worth. Then in 1985, I believe it was, We Are the World was a big campaign. I think it was launched mostly by Michael Jackson. A great cause to stamp out world famine. Obviously, it's not going to work for long. Intentions were good, but people without food, that's a sad thing, and certainly that adds in the back of my mind to the thought of being prepared. And then, of course, 911 hit. I can remember that day as I was tying my shoes to go out for the day when the news came on the regular television for a special report, obviously. And once again, the world had stopped turning for just a little moment there, and a sad day for everyone. But many asked, how could it happen? And in my mind, I always knew things like that could possibly happen and may possibly happen again. And I believe it was 1989, there was a terrible, terrible earthquake in California. This is just one of the pictures from it. And that gets your wheels turning to the prepping mindset. And I believe it was 2003 that Manhattan had a terrible blackout, one of the worst in histories. And be glad you were not on the elevators in a building that day. Definitely gets my mind thinking. And of course there was Katrina. And there will probably be more hurricanes inland in the years to come. Another reason to prep, and to diversify your preps in different locations, caches in different areas and such. And I can remember when one of the first nuclear power plants came to my area growing up, and it was a big controversy. A lot of times people would lay out in front of the bulldozers and that type of thing, and fear that the nuclear would be a terrible thing, and quite frankly I'm not convinced that it's a good thing. Nuclear plants are coming right and left in different areas, and in the back of my mind, I mean, it's man-made, folks, so you just don't know. You just don't know. But anyway, this is the One-Eyed Patriot, and I want you to do a few things for me. I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Lumberman2011, and also Guns and Accessories, and of course Northwestprepper411. So please go check out their channels. They're great folks, and I'm sure they would appreciate that. I'll be signing off for now. Stay prepared. Thanks for watching.